In just a couple of hours, Ed Breen, Tyco's new CEO, will be addressing shareholders on the state of the company, as well as taking questions in a special investor conference call.
The stock has been hit hard over the last year, dropping more than 69%.
Joining us this morning from Raleigh, North Carolina, to talk about the call is Richard Moore. He is North Carolina's state treasurer. And from Evansville, Indiana, Jonathan Miller. He is the state treasurer of Kentucky. Gentlemen, good to have you back on the program this morning.
It's great to be with you.
Back with you.
Yeah, you're going to be, Mr. Miller, you're going to be on the call. Mr. Moore, someone from your office is going to be on the call. What is the most important question you want answered? Mr. Miller?
Well, in my opinion, the fundamental is how do we restore confidence in this company, both in terms of current shareholders, investors, but also with the street and with the public at large. There has been a drip of accusation after accusation and counter-accusation, and if that continues, we'll continue to see a further erosion in Tyco's price and a further erosion in the confidence the public has in the company. And there needs to be some dramatic steps taken to restore that confidence so we can right the Tyco ship.
Just to let our viewers know, both of your state pensions, both North Carolina and Kentucky, have really been slammed. Particularly, Mr. Moore, your state has 71 million shares. That's the 55th largest position of Tyco. You've got to be steaming mad.
Well, we are angry. All of the beneficiaries that I represent are really sick of this type of behavior. And there seems to have been a grace period in most of these marquee companies that have just kind of led the parade of horrible corporate behavior. The problem at Tyco is it doesn't seem to end. And we're going to ask some very tough questions today. We want to get to the bottom of this. If this is new leadership, independent leadership, they certainly have a vested interest in looking under every single rock possible. Let's get this bad behavior out of the way. I'm particularly troubled by the allegations this week that board members may have changed the minutes to reflect whether they have approved these bonuses or not. We cannot, and as an investor, it is awfully tough for us to value our risk of Tyco as an ongoing concern, which we do believe does have value. It's awfully tough for us to value it if there is any hint that the bad behavior and the people who caused this mess are still running that company. And we just won't stand for it anymore.
Mr. Miller, you bring up something about directors. And, of course, you know, we have problem at company after company, Enron. We've got a story today raising questions about whether the SEC is going to try to discipline directors at Enron. And they seem to be a little bit reluctant so far. To what extent do outside directors of companies like Tyco share the blame? And would you like to see some of them to go?
Well, I think that this is something that we have to take a serious look at. You know, the Bose report I thought was a very good start in terms of making an internal investigation of this company. But as Treasurer Moore just mentioned, more revelations have come out which seem to indicate that there are directors that might have engaged not only in behavior approving some of these loans, which seems to be a euphemism for stealing money from the company, but that there might have been a cover-up afterwards. And if that is the situation, then we do need to have a full shake-up of how this board is run. And I think that the best thing that we need to do for Tyco would be to have some sort of independent committee, you know, headlined by someone like a Paul Volcker or a George Mitchell, who could take a completely independent look at what the board has been doing and to make some strong recommendations about how the future of Tyco should be managed.
Mr. Moore, a lot of the bulls on Tyco have actually benefited over the past couple of months. The stock has doubled since Mr. Breen came in. You still have a stake. You're not saying how much, but you said you own too much to get out of your position. Where do you stand in terms of where you think, would you be willing, if the call goes well, to actually boost your stake in the company?
Well, and that's one of the things that we leave to our managers on tracking the value. But it's a fundamental that good corporate governance, and that's one of the real great lessons we've learned over the last 6 months, is good corporate governance is an intrinsic part of a stock's value. And particularly with Tyco, I think the burden is on them now to show why we should not get out the big broom and sweep all of this crowd out of the way. Out of all of the companies that have had problems over the last few months. This one seems to be the most calculated group of Ponzi schemes that I have ever seen. And the counterweight to that is there is real value in this company. There are some subsidiaries that are profitable, and it's impossible, though, to get to the bottom of what it's really worth until you get rid of all of this concern about future liability. And I got to tell you, not only should this new leadership team get out a big broom, but they also need to set an example and go strongly after these directors and any insurance that they may have to recapture these things that are just unconscionable, and the American people are tired of it.
Mr. Miller, you will be on that call. I want to know what you're going to say to Ed Breen about that.
Well, I'm going to use the old Watergate question, and that is, what did the board know, and when did it know it, and how are we going to get to the level that we can trust what came out in the Bose report, and how can we get to the level that we can again have faith that the management and the board of Tyco is serving the shareholders' interests. And I'm going to again recommend that they put together some sort of independent committee that is not beholden to any of the board members, and that will be able to take a good hard look and really be able to focus on what needs to be done, and if a crackdown and if we need to do a clean sweep of the board is needed.
Okay, we'll be watching the call. And gentlemen, we thank you both for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much. Always good to be with you.
Richard Moore is the State Treasurer of North Carolina, and Mr. Miller, Jonathan Miller, the Kentucky State Treasurer.
Just a quick note.